Well, you've heard a number of members on the Republican side of the aisle quite clear on what it should not be. This will not be a political circus. This will not be the kind of character smear that sadly our Democratic colleagues have gotten very good at. And it's important to note, a couple of years ago, I was doing my weekly podcast and I was on with a noted liberal intellectual who made a comment, something to the effect of, well, both sides do this. Both sides smear Supreme Court justices. And I was forced to laugh out loud and say, look, I understand that's a pretty good talking point. It just happens not to be true.
There's a lot there already. Ted Cruz starting his statements when he's looking to maybe, talk to a Supreme Court nominee. But instead it's about his podcast and it's about how we have this division in the country. Democrats suck. Republicans will never do these things. Smearing in particular, smearing a Supreme Court justice nominee. I want you guys to remember that. Ted Cruz said, Republicans don't smear Supreme Court justice nominees. Well, this is what they did before they even knew before they even knew who the nominee was. Watch.
That's offensive. Yep. Black women are 6% of the US population? He's saying to 94% of Americans, I don't give a damn about you.
That ought to be the litmus test, not race, not religion, not gender, not anything else, but are you willing to follow the Constitution? It just shows, I think, that Joe Biden is willing to do anything for power.
But Joe Biden, all Joe Biden can talk about is your skin color. Patronizing? That doesn't even begin to describe what this is. This is exactly why decent Americans hated segregation.
I believe that diversity benefits the Supreme Court, but the way that the president has handled this nomination has been clumsy at best.
The irony is that the Supreme Court is at the very same time hearing cases about this sort of affirmative racial discrimination.
Yes.
And while adding someone who is the beneficiary of this sort of quote.
Republicans smear so quickly and so easy, they'll smear when they don't even know who it is. Now, once they did find out who the nominee is, Ketanji Brown Jackson, this guy who kind of leads the party in the thought process, and every other people watch his show on Fox News, he then had this to say about her.
Let's say you really didn't care about the country you lead. Let's say you wanted to humiliate and degrade it and undermine its ancient institutions. What would you do? Well, you might take the single most important appointed position in the entire government and announce in public that you were filling that position on the basis of appearance. That would send a very clear message that you don't like the country you run and you don't care about the institutions that its ancestors built. Then Biden went on to mention someone called Ketanji Brown Jackson. Now that's not a name most Americans know because Ketanji Brown Jackson has been an appellate judge for less than a year. But Joe Biden assured us she is, quote, one of our top legal minds. So is Ketanji Brown Jackson, a name that even Joe Biden has trouble pronouncing, one of the top legal minds in the entire country? We certainly hope so. Biden's right. Appointing her is one of his gravest constitutional duties. So it might be time for Joe Biden to let us know what Ketanji Brown Jackson's LSAT score was. What did she do in the LSATs?
Because Tucker Carlson asked about everyone's LSAT scores, and there's no smearing going on at all in this party. No smearing at all. In fact, there's one more person who didn't smear Ketanji Brown Jackson, Josh Hawley.
I think we just have a basic question to ask. Are we going to get a judge here who's going to protect children or who's going to protect child predators? It's a simple question. It's one I think that every parent in America would like answered, but it's one that the White House doesn't want to answer. And so far, Judge Jackson doesn't want to answer it.
So she covers for child rapists and traffickers. She's stupid. She's too black. She's a woman. She has no experience, which is all lies, by the way. But there's no smearing going on, Francesca, at all. There's none of that happens.
I mean, I love this show. You guys do such a good job just like laying out the argument. That's all you need to know about this system and this country. Look at it. We don't need, once again, Republicans want to ban critical race theory. Look at what they're carrying out every single damn day. Look at the amount of racism. Look at the amount of code they speak in. Not even code anymore. And it's just incredible. It just reminds you that white Americans and white conservatives, they don't see race when it comes to their own. right? They don't understand that when you have a majority white Supreme Court, right? That they don't understand that like that white is also a color, even though their entire right-wing movement right now is based on white identitarian politics, white nationalist, if you will, politics, white, the embattled white American. That's the entire politics. No, but they don't see race. Oh, but Biden is only doing everything around race. It is so disgusting to me. I can't believe we're still here. Yep. And you bet today and tomorrow, we're gonna be hearing so many smears about Ketanji Brown Jackson's career, the books she's read, things she checked out of the library. like who knows? The reason that we had any kind of litigation around Brett Kavanaugh's past and his college years is because a woman accused him of rape. Hello. That is a due diligence background check that, by the way, we haven't even gotten to the bottom of whether or not the Senate committee even did their due diligence in the election or nomination and confirmation of Brett Kavanaugh. We're still waiting on that. That's still under investigation. There were many credible tips that came in about him. So just apples and oranges. And again, like, yeah, okay, African-American women might be 6% of the American population. How many African Americans make up the prison population? Let's talk about that. Who do you think put them there? 9 times out of 10. My guess is white judges. So, funny how that works out.
Well, those things work out for them. Again, and there was a part about that too when they were talking about how her identity, and it's just for someone who looks a certain way. That completely ignores and doesn't acknowledge her as a human being. And it tells that about anyone else that has any similar experiences to her. Who would potentially be benefited by having representation from someone like her on the Supreme Court, but all that is disregarded because we're disrespecting our ancestors. I think that's that's a damning statement to say about our ancestors, that they wouldn't want anyone like this on the Supreme Court. Yet
who built the justice system?
That they're bad people. Yeah, I mean, hey, be careful what you say about the ancestors and the founding fathers. You might be exposing them for what you thought was a good thing.